The Raiders' deepest penetration into San Diego territory has been the San Diego 33-yard line.
Holding, number 76 offense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
Robert Gallery in his first start at left tackle is having a heck of a time. And his first start over in what is his regular spotter, at least it was at Iowa. In his third year, the former #1 draft choice, #2 overall pick. Of course, he's playing against a front seven that has played like the Purple People Eaters or the Steel Curtain or something tonight, or the Fearsome Foursome.
Well, you got to give some credit to Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator. Out of this 3-4 defense, he does a lot of things. He really confuses the block.
Fumble. Jordan dropped it. I think he maybe he didn't get back on top of it. Scramble for the football. Apparently the Raiders are going to keep it.
Yeah, you make the call.
Yeah, you make the call. They muffed the draw handoff. Yeah. See, backup quarterback probably hadn't run with that first unit running back in a while on the practice field, which happens. Turnover.
And the Chargers have got it.
Wow, you wonder what you write down on your notebook when you see a play like that.
Fumble.
Yeah.
And not a good one.
And the first turnover of the game, and it's not something the Raiders needed. That's for sure.
When Andrew Walter put the ball up high on Lamont Jordan's chest and bounced it off his pads. And coaches, you said, you got a backup quarterback in there who probably hasn't repped a whole lot with the first unit, and this is what's going to happen.
It's early in the season, guys, but this is not a good sign for the Oakland Raiders.
It's been an awful performance. I mean, you can't cut it any other way. They've been dreadful.
Unbalanced left again here. Elephant. They must have something off it.
They give it to the fullback. Give a little sugar to Lorenzo Neal, a Pro Bowl fullback, and he got 4 yards.
He didn't get to carry it very often. Last year, 29 times the whole season. He's ahead of his average right now. Just to keep him smiling.
That's right. That's what I say. You got to give him a little love, give him a little sugar. Those fullbacks.
His neck's getting shorter.
It's getting shorter all the time.
Boy, he made the Pro Bowl last year, and did he ever deserve it?
He's a terrific guy. Just a guy you can talk to all day long. He has a passion for the game, an enthusiasm to go out and block. And that's what you have to play that fullback position. It's kind of the old school kind of player.
Yeah, there are not many of them coming out of college anymore because they're all in those spread formations and shotguns and that. There's just not many of them around.
Now the give off the left side is to Turner. And Turner got it down inside the 2, maybe to the 1. Kirk Morrison made the stop as clock will wind its way under the 5-minute mark. And the Chargers look like they're going to add points to this and add insult to injury against the hated Raiders. 194 rushing yards to the 46 for Oakland.
It looks like Marty Ball is back.
At least in Oakland.
At least in Oakland. Marty with another win over the hated Raiders in his mind.
Turner in there with Neal. 3rd down and goal. Turner, touchdown. Stills got his feet moving. Ran over Robert Thomas, and now the Charger celebration can really begin. And the trip back to Southern California, that bull thing that they're doing is for Steve Foley, their teammate who's not here
kick-out block
tonight.
again. See, we just complimented Lorenzo Neal, number 41, and he comes back and does a real nice job of kicking out. They doubled down, kicked out. He actually hearing that, too, on his own.
Penalty markers all over the field. And I think it's going to be for the bull stomp that was going on with the teammates. Again, that is for Steve Foley, who's in the hospital. We talked about the gunshot wounds, and that's one of the things they were going to do special for him tonight. And it really doesn't matter in this case.
Taunting, number 33 of the offense. The penalty will be enforced 15 yards on the kickoff.
And here's another look as the guys get together, Turner and Neal and Gates, and they've all got the same thing going on for their teammate who's not here, and it cost him a penalty, but it really doesn't matter with 4.5 to go in a game that's about to be 27-0, and it is. So they'll tack that penalty on the kickoff, and we're down to 4.5 minutes to play. Hopefully next week the Steelers and the Jaguars will give us something a little bit better than what we're seeing right now. ESPN's Monday Night Football showcases defending Super Bowl champions. They'll take on Byron Leftwich, who looked good yesterday as he led the Jaguars to a win over the Cowboys. Action starts 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. It can also be experienced in high definition on ESPN HD. Steelers and the Jags. Mike and Tony and Joe will have all of that for you next week on Monday Night Football. Well, fellas, the first weekend rolls around, and you don't very often, Dick, see as many visiting teams win football games as we saw this first weekend.
I know it. You know, there have been years when the visiting team has won more, but not many.
Yeah,
not many.
This is going to be the what, 9th visiting team that's going to win this weekend, or is it 10?
Brad, did you see those the yardage numbers? It was absolutely incredible. It looked like the Raiders had 46 total yards.
Oh.
That has to be some sort of record for the Oakland Raiders, a team that is rich in tradition. They used to get 46 yards on one pass play on a regular basis.
And as Andrew Walter came in, I'm sure he wanted to play, but he wanted to come in a situation like this.
Can't blame the quarterback.
But they will. You know that, Coach. The quarterback is always going to get too much credit when things go well and too much blame when things go poorly. And certainly things have gone very poorly for the Raiders here this evening.
Chargers had 46 sacks last year, and they've got a whole bunch already tonight. Here's the kick. Chris Carr will get some good field position, and flags down. Maybe it won't matter. If it's an illegal block, it'll go the other way, and that's just one more thing that the Raiders will continue to have to work on. We talked about them leading the league in penalties.
During the return, holding, number 40, receiving team. 10-yard penalty, spot of the foul. First down, Oakland.
Art, there'll be better days. At least I hope so for you. Let's check in with Bonnie.
Well, Sean Merriman has a lot to do with the fact that the Raiders haven't been able to put any points on the board today. Brad talked about him putting that film room in his house, and he's been boxing with his uncle, Henry Buchanan, who's a pro, 150-pound lightweight. He's 15-0, and Merriman was saying, you know, it is 60 minutes of football, but in reality, you're doing 20 seconds worth of a play and then resting for 30, whereas a round of boxing is 3 minutes of straight work, one-on-one with a guy, and it's really helped build his endurance.
I don't think I'd want to do any Muay Thai with Sean Merriman, because you get elbows and knees and everything involved. It's not just punching. That guy's done it all tonight.
Yes, he has.
Wow.
Unbelievable football
He might
player.
be the next very great player. We talked about, you talked about it earlier, Jaws. He looked at films of LT and Derek Thomas and a lot of guys like that. He came out with a statement not that long ago and talked about Junior Seau. And he said he got taken a little bit out of context because he said, I'm going to be better than Junior Seau. Well, he said to us yesterday, he says, I meant no disrespect. I love the game. Junior went to 12 Pro Bowls. I've only been playing a year. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. All I said was, I think because of my physical skills, if I keep working and I keep doing different things and I keep studying the greats like Junior Seau, someday maybe I can be as good or better than him. So I love the way that he explained that to us because, you know, when the story first came out, it kind of looked like he was saying, hey, man, I'm going to be better than Junior.
Yeah, and there's another dimension to this guy, a pass rush dimension.
Right.
You know, and that's, I mean, he's a defensive end and a linebacker, and I mean, a vicious pass rusher.
And 268 pounds, and his body fat's down from it was a year ago because of what Bonnie showed us with those workouts. I mean, that's just frightening to think of the size of that guy and the speed he's got, and that he can play so well in just his second year.
And he's got that new tattoo on his neck that says finish strong.
Finish strong.
Justin Fargas makes a nice run.
Justin Fargas all the way down inside the 35-yard line. Shows a little bit of spark work.
That's right. Yeah, now they're going to start running the football. We thought that was going to be the plan. They were going to go back to the Raider tradition of that smash mouth style of football, but they've certainly waited far too long to get the running game going or commit themselves to the running game.
Randy Moss, you know, is not going to be happy about his game tonight. Fewest offensive yards in a game in Raider history. Tonight they've got 97. And that is their first down that Vargas just got them since the 13-minute mark remaining in the third quarter. Yikes.
They got two guys in motion.
And now they call a timeout.
Boy,
Timeout, Oakland. That's their first charge.
Had the flanker back, Johnny Morant, went in motion, as did the running back. and the quarterback was kicking the heel to get the running back to come over to block, and the wide receiver was going in motion at the same time. I think they're a little bit
confused. You know, you have Richard Lee in the backfield, number 42. He has not seen a lot of snaps, or probably did not see many reps at practice this week, so there certainly was a breakdown in communication. Now Randy's communicating.
Don't forget, Sportcenter is coming up after the game. Scott Van Pelt, Neil Everett. They'll have post-game on the Charger-Raider game. The Vikings-Redskins breakdown. NFL top plays of Week 1. I always love that. I doubt that Trent Green is still awake this late at night, but Trent, we hope you get better quickly, too. I know Tony Gonzalez called you today, Coach, and said, how's Trent doing? I can't get a hold of him.
I said, I haven't talked to Trent. I've tried to. My wife, Carol, talked to Julie Green and got a good report.
That's good.
He might miss a game or two, but he's doing okay.
Tip pass incomplete with 2:15 to go. And the Raiders have never had 3 straight losing seasons ever. They've had 3, and now they maybe will be shut out at home for only the 2nd time in history. Denver did it to them in 1981.
I've never seen him look like this in this Coliseum. Never.
Art in here is a war.
Yeah. I mean, Art has
had to come from behind, and he's got a lot of work to do between now and next Sunday.
That's what I was going to get at, Dick, if I can, after this play. Here's a little quick draw to Fargus. What do you do, Dick, now? Your art show, you go, okay, now what do we do?
Well, first off, you don't panic.
Yeah.
You know, and you right away go into your program for handling adversity.
This early in the season?
After the first game, you got to have a plan for that.
Week 2?
We'll talk more about it when we come back. We're at the 2-minute warning. 27-0 San Diego.
September 12, and on this day in 2000, New York Yankees troubled star Darryl Strawberry found himself with more problems. The 38-year-old outfielder, who at the time was suspended and on probation, was found guilty of driving under the influence of medication and leaving the scene of an accident. He was sentenced to 2 years house arrest, meaning he can only leave home to go to work or to the doctor. Also on this day, former Indian cricket captain Kapil Dev, who at the time was embroiled in a match-fixing scandal, resigned as India's coach. Dev, one of the most successful bowlers in Test history, had been coached for almost 1 year and captained India to their 1983 World Cup win. And Chinese basketball sensation Yao Ming, who stands at 7 feet 6 inches tall and plays for the Houston Rockets, celebrates his birthday on this day, September 12.
Italian football on ESPN.
Or 2.
All right, Sportcenter follows us. Scott Van Pelt, Neil Everett, guys are standing by, anxiously awaiting us to get done here in the last 2 minutes. Been a long day for everybody. We only had about, what, 15 hours of NFL coverage on ESPN? They're down at 6.
I love it.
You can't get enough of it.
I think I did 13.
Walter back. Throws. Got his man inside the 10. Nice touch to Ronald Curry. It's good to see Ron Curry back. He's had Achilles problems the last 2 years. He had a problem with that when he was a quarterback in North Carolina. And his right leg in the last 2 years, his left Achilles is blown up on him. Here he is back, still working.
It was his zone coverage, and he just worked in there behind the safety, rolled up in the corner, and did a nice job. And he threw the ball, but he got time to throw the ball.
That was the key, Coach. There was a nice touch. He had to loft that ball over Drayton Florence, who had buzzed out to that flat. But the nice touch on the ball was able to get the completion and get inside the 10-yard line for the Raiders.
See if the Raiders can avoid that shutout that we were talking about. We're down to 1:15, first and goal. Fargus broke one tackle, danced his way back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Drayton Florence made the stop.
He's made a couple good tackles today.
And Carlos Polk made the play, the outside linebacker, number 52. He really forced it to the outside. Didn't allow Vargas to really hit that thing flying. He had to get to the sideline, and that's when his friends came to help. Polk and his guys were there.
Marty Schottenheimer will win his 187th regular season game and break the all-time tie in 7th place with Chuck Knox.
Right.
And the most wins for any coach against one team.
Winning his coaching today.
Yep.
Marty Schottenheimer. I don't think he gets as much credit as due to Marty Schottenheimer.
I agree with you, Coach. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Marty Schottenheimer. And, you know, his son Brian now coaching the Jets, the offensive coordinator in New York. And
started out with a win.
To Eric Mangini and Brian Schottenheimer and that whole staff. A win.
I was in the office the other day talking to Marty, and I said, Marty, you know, I'm proud of Brian as you are, you know, but starting out as a coordinator in New York, wow, that's a tough spot.
This tells you something right here. The Raiders take a timeout with 15 seconds left. They do not want to be shut out. And
they better kick a field goal.
I think Al Davis signaled timeout.
I don't know. That's what I was getting at. I'm not sure where it was coming from, but Janikowski is stretching his leg at least, because you don't want that hanging over your head, especially in your season opener when you had high hopes and your coach is back for his second tour of duty, as Art Shell is. And so now they're going to have...
they'll run an offensive play.
Well, they're going to have to pitch it then to Janikowski, unless he's not going to come out.
Sebastian, he ain't running
He's lost
anywhere.
a few pounds, but he may not be running that distance. Oh, gosh, Art, I know I've had my butt beat many, many times in football, and being on that side where Marty is much more fun.
Oh, yeah.
People say, do you miss coaching? I says, all the wins.
Yeah, none of the losses. Third down and goal. Walter steps up in the pocket. He's going to run with it and gets down at about the 9 with 9 seconds remaining. And final timeout taken. So Marty Schottenheimer, who has Raider week and gets his team all geared up for it, and came in on the road in a hostile environment with a first-time starting quarterback in Phillip Rivers, and the gym rat from Alabama by way of North Carolina State is going to be a happy quarterback tonight. Not huge numbers, but he did a very nice job.
How about his dad?
How about his dad?
Yeah,
very happy. His dad's here, yeah.
You know, we were talking earlier, and I said in my first start, it was my 3rd year, and I threw 13 passes, and I kind of correlated that to Phillip Rivers. I said, you know, Marty's going to manage his game and not give a lot of opportunities. I didn't think it would ever be 11 throws. Yeah.
Next week, he'll get up to 17.
That's right.
Well, when you have LaDainian Tomlinson, there's the duo in the backfield right now.
And he's looking up to him. This kid's going to go fast.
Phillip Rivers, I thought, was outstanding. The kid just reeks of football. He's a fun guy to be around. The players respective and tremendous upside.
Walter on 4th down, throws out, completes.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds with no time remaining, if the scoreboard is right. And
Marty's still coaching over there.
He's still coaching, telling his guys to stay off the field. He wasn't sure if it was all zeros up there on the scoreboard, but it is. So he's got another win over the Raiders. He's got his 187th win, moving into 7th place all time, all by himself. LaDainian Tomlinson, huge game. 27-0. San Diego goes to 1-0. Oakland with their loss with Art Shell's return. Sportcenter's next. Right now for Dick Vermeil, Ron Jaworski, Bonnie Bernstein, and the rest of our ESPN crew, Brad Nessler saying good night from Oakland. Guys that coach together and coached against each other. One goes home happy and one doesn't. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
جديد على أوربت الجزيرة الرياضية بلس 1 والجزيرة الرياضية بلس 2 الأكثر جماهيرية في المنطقة، واللتان تواكبان أهم الأحداث الرياضية العالمية والإقليمية. الدوري الإيطالي، الدوري الإسباني، والكثير غير ذلك. الجزيرة الرياضية بلس 1 والجزيرة الرياضية بلس 2 متوفرتان لجميع مشاركي دول مجلس التعاون الخليجي ضمن باقتي ميجا وبرايم على القناتين 16 و17. تعرضان حالياً على أوربت. أوربت، عالم من الرياضة.
We now join this Orbit ESPN program already in progress.
Brad Childress, so congratulations to Brad, who goes in and in his first game ever as head coach beats a Hall of Fame coach in his stadium, in Joe Gibbs. the new look Vikings run the ball.
Not only that, but I loved how Brad Childress put a stamp on it. He deactivated the safety before the game. He let Dante Culpepper go. This is my team. I'm going to be a balanced, efficient, no mistake football team, and they played like it first game out.
You know, the team is built to run the football. We talk about McKinney and Hutchinson, and you've got Matt Burke at that center spot. Chester Taylor had 31 rushes. This is the first time that a Vikings running back has had 30-plus carries. The last time it happened, Robert Smith, 1996, 10 years ago. So it's not the 88 yards that Chester Taylor got. It's the way they control the football with that offensive line and the running game.
And so Taylor, it also showed, he's got low mileage. Guy came from Baltimore, didn't run it's the original tires on the car, even though he's been in the league for a few years. He's got some zip. And Brad Johnson, Stephen Michael, I mean, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, Brad did. I must say he surprised me some, because watching him live right in the stadium, you see his arm and you think, man, this guy's getting older. Maybe he doesn't have the arm strength, but he threw that deep ball nice. He threw it real nice. He had good air up under it. Look at this, a quick pump. He got the ball back up in the air for the touchdown. He made some great throws, and he can do some great things with the type of discipline and structure they have in Minnesota now.
And even in a losing effort, you have to be encouraged, because the Redskins look so much better than they looked in the preseason.
They did, but they lost their zip in offense. They had it in the second quarter.
They have the most talent in the league. They're underachieving to their talent right now. The speed they had, it was unbelievable what they had out there. They did not show well today, I don't think.
They played Dallas, and one of those two teams will be 0-2.
We'll see them.
There it is from FedEx Field, where he positively, absolutely delivered a Vikings 19-16 win. Scotty.
Boom, thanks very much. And you compare the quarterbacks, and the key on third down, and Johnson was good. The toughest thing in the league is when you can't get the other team off the field, and Johnson was not spectacular, but he was efficient, kept moving the chains, 10 of 15, averaged nearly 12 yards per pass attempt. And after the game, after Johnson outdueled Brunell and the Vikings outdueled the Redskins, Brad Childress was given a game ball.
I feel tremendously humbled, a little bit emotional after the game, but I'm just happy for those guys, most of all in the locker room. They put in a lot of hard work, and there's a pretty good buy-in factor when you come up with a win.
It was electrifying out there. I mean, it was something special in warm-ups and the whole game. It was loud. Playing here, it was a hostile environment, and they have a great team. And fortunate for us, we came out with a win there in the end.
Kind of back and forth. We probably had a chance to win it in a number of places, and they eventually made the play to win the game for us. So I felt like we gave ourselves a chance. Our guys kept fighting, but it was they made the last play, the one that counted.
Clinton Portis spent his week downplaying his chances of being ready to start, said you'll see 2-6 for Dallas. Well, he played in this one after dislocating his shoulder on August 13th in a preseason game. Afterwards, he explained the emotions and the feelings after being back on the field.
I didn't know if they was going to let me play tonight or not, but having the opportunity to go on the field, once the adrenaline started going and the crowd getting into the game, the little pain or whatever, go away. After that first play, I felt good. I think just running into the line back on the first gut I got to test it out to see how I was going to hold up. It gave me a great opportunity that I was feeling okay, and I think Coach them saw that and called my number a little more than I thought they would.
Just a fashion observation, Sean Merriman, Portis, and I believe Chad Johnson all rocking the Frohawks early on in the season. We'll keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the Redskins on the ground. 103 yards as a team, but 38 of those came on 2 carries, 23 on an attempt by Santana Moss. Portis averaged 22 carries, 95 yards a game last season, held considerably under that. Liddell Betts under 3 yards per carry. TJ Duckett, the new running back, did not play.
All right, is this it? Have the Patriots finally let go of a player they simply cannot replace? Straight ahead, why Deion Branch should be the man Bill Belichick ends up missing the most. Forget the wild card. The Twins just might win the Central outright. White Sox, though, right there as well. Up next, Twins hosting the A's, White Sox way out west. Pick up a pass-catching version of Larry Brown, or did New England just trade the next Lynn Swann? Only history will tell, but Deion Branch's Patriot days are history. Former Super Bowl MVP shipped to Seattle for a 2007 first-round pick, Last time Seattle gave up a 1 to get someone, 5 years ago when they landed quarterback Matt Hasselbeck. Branch was holding out for a new deal. Seattle will oblige. Branch had coming off a career year last season, 78 catches, 998 yards, 5 touchdowns. Hawks coach Mike Holmgren unsure when Branch will be ready to go. Richard Seymour sorry to see his former teammate gone.
I'm happy for him to, get a new contract and be back out on the football field, playing football. So in that regard, I'm very happy for him. But I guess, in my own, selfish reasons, I want him in a Patriot uniform. And, obviously I don't control that. And he doesn't to some degree as well. So, I don't know, it's just disappointing to say the least. I think, you look back a few years ago at the Lawyer Malloy situation, this is times, 5, 6, 83.
Well, it's actually times 4 if you look back to who they had last season. Remember us, Willie McGinnis now with the Browns, Sack King, David Gibbons now with the Titans, good hands man, Adam Vinatieri, 3 Super Bowl rings, Superfoot, and now Deion Branch. Where have you gone?
For some more perspective now on this trade, we welcome in Sean Salisbury. And Sean, the New England organization has taken a bunch of hits, and now you look at the wide receivers that have moved on. David Gibbons, a career high in receptions last year. He's in Tennessee. Now Branch, a career high in receptions last year, moves on to Seattle. At what point do they finally have an impact on the offense, and particularly Brady?
Scott, you make a great point. Doesn't there have to be a point of diminishing returns?
I guess so.
There's no question about it. And you look at the impact it has on the New England Patriots, is you can only go to the tight end and throwing the ball to Kevin Falk so many times. You've got an MVP-type player in Tom Brady. But last week against Buffalo, this past weekend, you can eventually squeeze. And if you're any kind of defense at all, I can take your best player away. That being said, we saw them run the ball a little bit better, which they're going to need to. But with Graham and Ben Watson, you can't continue to just rely on the tight end because things like this happen. You must have a game breaker and wide receiver. And so, Scott, it gets to the point, as good as the Patriots organization has been, when do you got to get Brady some more help to where he doesn't have to carry a full franchise on his back, which he's doing offensively right now?
You saw the Moreeeee and Dillon two-headed monster. It might be a heavy dose of that running the ball from
40 times
from
maybe.
Belichick. Yep. On the other side of this, now Seattle, a team that went to the Super Bowl last year, gets a former Super Bowl MVP to go along with Bobby Ingram and Darrell Jackson. How does he impact that team?
Explosion, Scott. How many times have you seen a quarterback like Hasselbeck did this last week and go 25 out of 30, and yet you get no touchdowns out of it? We know we got one of the better quarterbacks in the NFC, but remember, this is a former Super Bowl MVP who can run after the catch. He gives you the explosive speed, and even when he doesn't catch the ball, you got him on the perimeter outside to open it up in the inner lanes and to get Shaun Alexander going. Remember, they lose Steve Hutchinson, so their run game's going to suffer a little bit at the offensive guard, but with Branch, it gives you the ability to stretch a field, and then when you dump it, those 6-yard dumps become 15-yard gains. And one other thing about this where the Patriots lose, we know Seattle's what? The easiest road to the Final Four?
Right.
I mean, to home field advantage?
Right.
Let's say they get to the Final Four, Scott, or close to the Super Bowl. You're talking about your first-round pick is going to be a 29, 30, 31, or 32. So it's not like the Patriots are getting a top-5 pick. You can never be guaranteed that a late first-round pick is going to pan out.
All right, Sean Salisbury, you're free to go for now, but we'll be seeing you a little bit later in this program.
GMC love later?
If you'll do it.
I'll be here.
Outstanding. All right.
LaDainian Tomlinson and the Chargers shut out the Raiders 27-0 on Monday night. Third shutout of Week 1. Last time there were 3 or more shutouts in Week 1 back in 1977 when there were 5 shutouts. From shutouts to shoutouts for Brad Nessler, Dick Vermeil, and Ron Jaworski.
This is certainly not how Art Shell had it planned for his second tour of duty as a head coach of the Oakland Raiders, as tonight 27-0 is the final. And Dick, I know you've coached against Marty Schottenheimer, Art Shell. It's got to be a terrible feeling to get zapped at home like they did. But Marty Schottenheimer and Wade Phillips' defense, sensational for the Chargers.
Dominating. They dominated the line of scrimmage against the run. So if they couldn't run, so now they've got up to their 3rd and long situations. Here they're trying to run the ball outside, no yards. Now they go to passing game. They're in 3rd and long too many times. He's getting his butt knocked off. He's losing more yards, getting sacked, and he's throwing the ball downfield. Just, no, boy, I've never seen an offense this inept.
9 sacks tonight for the San Diego Chargers. 7 of those suffered by Aaron Brooks, who was a starting quarterback. He ended the game with 6 completions, got sacked 7 times. On the other side, we started the night talking about Phillip Rivers. First start for him in a San Diego Charger uniform. And Jaws, they didn't ask him to do much because he didn't have to do that much because he had number 21 behind him.
Phillip Rivers only threw the ball 11 times. Marty Schottenheimer managed his game. That meant LaDainian Tomlinson had to wear the hat. And boy, did he wear the big sombrero. He ran inside. He ran outside. He broke tackles. He went over the top. He was the true Superman, leaping into the air with a single bound for a touchdown. And he has just been terrific in Oakland. Look at these last 5 games here. Look at the number of rushes: 39, 28, 37, 31, and tonight 31 for a $131. Also caught 3 passes in the ballgame, 34 touches. Warren Sapp told us at our meeting on Saturday he thought LaDainian Tomlinson would touch the ball 40 times. Warren was pretty close.
He really was. Near perfect performance. No turnovers suffered by San Diego tonight. They didn't allow a sack, and they only had 3 penalties. And tonight, a resounding win, 27-0. Lamont Jordan tells the story right there. 6 straight victories for the Chargers over the Oakland Raiders.
Thank you, men. Still ahead, several critical injuries from the NFL's first week, including perhaps a season changer in the NFC. And on the subject of injuries, the Kansas City Chiefs announced just how long they'll be without the services of Trent Green. Plus, just 1 base away from baseball immortality, could Alfonso Soriano swipe the show in Arizona?
Kansas City says Trent Green is questionable for this week's game at Denver. ESPN's Chris Mortensen reporting the Chiefs quarterback will miss at least the team's next 2 games, even with KC having a bye after its Denver game. Green knocked out of Week 1's loss to the Bengals in the 3rd quarter. He has started 81 consecutive NFL games. Here's Bob Holtzman on why 82 is in serious doubt.
Chiefs quarterback Trent Green will remain in the hospital until at least Tuesday with a severe concussion and what's described as a king-sized headache.
I was with him in the hospital this morning, and although he was certainly very alert and awake and wanted to talk about the football game, I knew that he was hurting.
Team president Carl Peterson says he and his staff have reviewed all angles of the hit, both from the TV broadcast and the coaches' tapes, and have already discussed it with the league office.
I think it was a late hit. I think it was obviously a very vicious hit, and one that unfortunately Trent Green and the Kansas City Chiefs are paying a price for.
It doesn't look like he was even looking at me. I think he was looking at one of the DBs, and he didn't really see me, I don't believe. And, you know, I was just playing ball, and I left my feet. They said I got pushed into him.
It wasn't a cheap shot. You know, it was something I think Eddie was trying to get a block downfield and kind of pushed him into Trent, and he didn't hit him with his helmet, so it wasn't a cheap shot.
Peterson says the Chiefs are not looking to add a quarterback, and there's no reason to think Green won't be back sometime fairly soon. For now, the Chiefs will go with Damon Huard, who hasn't started a game in 6 years, and backups Brody Croyle and Casey Printers, neither of whom has taken a regular season NFL snap. In Kansas City, Bob Holtzman, ESPN.
Well, the Chiefs say they aren't looking for quarterback help, but you heard Bob say it. They're looking at Huard making his first NFL start in nearly 6 years. Former Washington Husky went 12 for 20, 140 yards and a score Sunday. He was sacked 4 times. In his 10-year NFL career, Huard has won 5 of his 6 starts. Hut, quick hits. Green Bay signing receiver Corn Robinson, who's battled alcohol problems during his career. Pack signing the former Viking Pro Bowler, who was cut after a drunk driving charge. Lito Shepherd, probably be a spectator for the Eagles in their game Sunday against the Giants. All-pro corner, injuring an ankle in Philadelphia's win at Houston. Joe Jaravicius, expected to miss at least a month of games, if not longer. The Browns receiver suffering broken ribs in the first quarter of the season-opening loss to the Saints. The Rams with a big win against the Broncos, but a huge loss with center Andy McCollum out for the season. Ligament damage in a knee. He'd made 156 consecutive starts, and Jacksonville's celebration against Dallas tempered by the loss of Reggie Hayward, team sack leader from last season, gone for the season. Ruptured an Achilles tendon. Hey, now on ESPN.com, Michael Smith writing, the Jags, hungry for respect, sent a message to the critics with that win over the Cowboys.
Sportcenter rolls on. Anibal Sanchez making his first start since throwing a no-no. Would he get enough support against the Mets? Well, depends on if he could make 16 runs stand up. And some folks in the newsroom grumbling that Week 1 of the NFL wasn't that great. We've reviewed the tape, and that doesn't appear to be the case at all.
If he gets a couple of blocks, he's gone. Devin Hester, the rookie from Miami. Touchdown.
They call it Oaktown, Oakland, California. Couple of Charger fans in the house, but it was mostly the Black Hole Oakland fans trying to give their team some energy. I don't know if it didn't work or if San Diego was just too good. Stuart Scott hanging out with Coach Mike Ditka. Coach, San Diego was going for their 6th straight win over Oakland. Oakland had the energy of the fans, but that little thing that you're supposed to have didn't quite happen.
Well, a thing called talent, execution. It wasn't there. You know, they can't protect the quarterback. You can't protect the quarterback. You cannot throw the football. They quit trying to run the football early in the game. They got away from that. Once you get away from that, you better be able to protect the quarterback. Quarterback's drops are too deep. I mean, I can't. I could go on and on with a list here of what the problems are. But the guy I feel sorry for is Arshel. These guys don't look like they want to play, Stu. They come out here, they're going through the motions.
Well, let's take a look exactly how it went down in Oaktown. Randy Moss and the Raiders, they've lost 5 straight to the Chargers coming in, whose quarterback, Phillip Rivers, making his first NFL start. Lucky for Phillip, he had LaDainian Tomlinson. First quarter, no score. First Charger possession, Rivers passed it, LT coming out of the backfield. This is why he's the best running back in the NFL. He can run it, he can catch it. That will lead to a Charger field goal. Next possession, LT, handoff from Rivers, piece down the hole on the right side. 58 yards before he's run out of bounds. Coach, how did that happen so effectively?
Well, what they're doing is they're taking reverse. They're bringing that guy around in reverse. Don't ask me, but you watch O'Neal in there. I tell you, he's the hammer going through that hole. He takes that linebacker on and drives him right out of the hole.
Lorenzo Neal got a big head, but he was banging it. Second quarter, 4th down and goal at the 1. LaDainian Tomlinson, touchdown. He's now scored a touchdown in 23 of his last 29 games. Chargers 10-zip. Late second, Raiders down 13-0. Aaron Brooks finds Randy Moss 12 yards in a first down. Same drive, 3rd and 7.